Hi, I'm Christopher Hine, and today we're going to be talking about what to do when someone doesn't worry about your weapon hand. Now, in Aikido, the syllabus, the way it's built, there's a lot of focus on the weapon arm. But that doesn't mean that they're always going to not check your weapon arm. And we could say that, well, if they don't check our weapon arm, I'm going to use my weapon on them, so that's bad for them. And we're right, that is bad for them. But the problem is, it could still also be bad for you. So I know this is kind of a fuzzy description right now, but when we get into it, I'll show you what I mean, and we'll talk about some different scenarios that'll come up. And this will help when you start actually getting into a lot of live randori. So I'm going to call Josh over here, and we're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so now we're going to talk about a subject that I don't have a clear-cut title to tell you. It's you know, what do I do when he ignores my weapon hand? All right, so this will come up a ton for you guys in randori, and I wish I had an easier thing to describe it as, because anytime you get a good term for something, then it makes it clear, but I'll roughly give this to you, and as soon as I get a good term for it, I'll tell you what it is. But so understand that, you know, we're doing randori, so I'm running around, Josh trying to catch me, and I'm popping him with this stick. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, what Josh is doing right now is the normal thing, which is he's accounting for my weapon hand, right? And that's how all the Aikido forms expect him to do that, right? So I go like this, bang, bang. Now, if he got his way, maybe he would grab my wrist, right, or go into Ikkyo, right? So, but he's going to do something that has to do with my arm, and we account for that all the time in Aikido. Okay, now, what if, though, I hit him, and immediately after, he just comes and hits my body, or ignores my hand totally and comes and gets my body, right? So Josh just ignores the attack and gets my body. What do I do? Does Aikido have answers for that? Okay, while I think pretty much across styles, I mean, there might be some styles that, I was going to say lesser styles, and I'm saying lesser not because the style's less important, but just because it's not as known. There might be some lesser styles that have that in them. I don't know that they do, though, but Aikido does have answers for that. So the basic answer for any wide position in Aikido is A, to maintain my inner space, okay? Now, I often do that with a strike to the face or any kind of push to the core that moves me away from his body, and then I try and angle on that. Now, if I do what I just did right now, so now I got enough room that I could get by this, then I would get by that. If I cannot do that, right, so his arms are really long or something, then I try to shoot Uchimawari, right, and that's why we have Uchimawari in the system. So that's what the system's saying about any time they come to get your body like that. They come wide around you. Okay, so in this situation, say I come to hit Josh here, and he comes in inside of me. One thing I can do is drop my elbow right in here, and this elbow keeps him from getting too tight to me, right? So I'm just creating a little space here with my elbow. Now, the reason I'm doing it is because my weapon hand's already out here like this, and as he comes in, I come down and I try and stop him here on the weapon side, and then from here, I'm going to work out in any number of ways, right? So if I could just push my body out wide enough to pass the arm, then I could pass the arm. If I can't do that, then maybe I'm going to press on that face and get out with a proper triangle, right? So I'm going to use a proper triangle to get out of there. Could be that as I come up, Josh defends this top, and then he slides down around my arm, right? Okay, now this is bad because it really neutralizes a lot of this arm as he does it, and I can get caught that way, right? And so it can be hard to go from here to shoot it in here because he's connected to my arm, right? Okay, so what you have to try to do, and this is difficult, is shoot this hand across your body as you turn your hips. Now, you can't just do this because you're going to be in too weak a position to do anything. You have to rotate your hips as you're doing it. And so what happens is, as Josh is coming in, watch what will happen. I'll go right across his face, and then I can push myself out to the long side. Now, preferably, all the times when you're doing that, you want to be non-weapon side forward to him. And you want to do it so you're always headed to his back, right? Now let me explain what I mean, okay? So here, I'm headed towards Josh's back. So this is I Hanmi, right? I don't know if you guys, you know, like a lot of times when we'll be in positions, like this is I Hanmi, right? But you might not recognize it because it doesn't look like a really strict, rigid Hanmi. Now the reason I want to be in this position is because when I'm hitting him, there's nothing to defend him back here, right? All of his tools to defend him is this way, right? So if we were in Gyaku Hanmi like this, as I'm hitting him, you see everything's there to defend me. And so or defend him. So I can't really get successful weapon hits. And my weapon is always right where he is. And so that's no good. I don't want that. So I want my weapon side back, and I want to be in this configuration where I'm headed to his back side. So if possible, I always want to be in I Hanmi. So that's why our triangle should come off like this, and our triangle shouldn't come off like this. This is not a triangle, right? And the reason is because it's not as useful for me, right? Even if I had the weapon over here, every time I go to hit him, he can defend that really, really easily. So I want to have the weapon always at his back side. Now, I do risk my backside for that advantage, but it's a good trade because my weapon's going to be more successful, and I'm also always moving forward, which is an important thing to understand. So when we're here like this, as I go to get Josh, I'm moving forward into Josh. If I'm in this position, when I go to move forward into Josh, it's no good because he's right there with me, right? Now, if I have to get away from Josh, I have to move backwards, right? So look, if Josh is threatening my weapon and I pull it away, I'm moving backwards, which means Josh is in the dominant position. That is not the case here. As Josh comes to get me, I'm getting away from Josh forward, right? So always a better trade for me. So I would always prefer to be in that I Hanmi position, and I Hanmi can be sneaky. Let's make a nice one so they can see. So here's a nice I Hanmi, right? But if we're both standing kind of squarish, you might not recognize this as I Hanmi, but this is the preferable position to be in over this position, which is Gyaku Hanmi, right? Okay, so when they're coming to get you, one thing you need to do is keep space in between. You're going to put something in there. That can be done either by your elbow sneaking in here or shooting your hand in there to push them away. When you do it, though, you always need to be the side so that you're an I Hanmi and you're working towards their back forward and not working away from them backwards. And you don't want to be hitting into traffic. Traffic's the term I use for meaning there's something there to stop me. I want to be hitting where there's no traffic into his backside. So that's always what I'm looking for when I'm lining this stuff up. All right, so this is it's a weird kind of hodgepodge of things, but it's something that we've done for years. There's a lot of things that Josh and I do naturally in our randori because we spent lots of years in the garage smashing each other around that I have to convey to people who haven't spent that time. And it's like, boy, I know we just kind of figured out how to do that, you know? And so I don't know what to tell you to call that thing. But so I've been lately really trying to figure out how you strip those things out better and talk about them clearly instead of just having your students do a ton of randori, which I think is a good idea, but that's not always convenient, not always the best way to get into it. So that's a little bit on this, what happens if they don't check your weapon hand. I'm Christopher Hine, this is Joshua Teehee. My salon McDaniel's actually behind that one right now. Thank you very much.